Hello and welcome back to Violet. She's over there. We're not focusing on her today though, because I'm doing that later. I'm waiting for the rest of the clothes to come in, okay? Sue me. Today, we're working on the daggers. I have an idea and a plan. I don't know how they're gonna work out, honestly. This is, it's just gonna be like a little test to see if this could potentially work in the future even. But I got a 3D printer over the summer, and so I have a lot of scraps. And I was like, I wonder if I could make this work like how I do with my Werbla scraps, where I take them and I basically just like melt them together into bigger pieces. I haven't bought Werbla in years, to be fair. I haven't needed to. So I did a little bit of testing, and when you take your bigger pieces and you cut them up like this, I think if I like put these on a baking sheet on like parchment in the oven and like just blasted them, it would work really well. But with just my heat gun, I'm getting these little like gloopy globby clumps, which is fine because then if I cover it with Werbla, then we're all good. So I already have done my draft for the dagger. Here's that. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed. Here we are. I basically wanted it to like fit in my palm, so I did measure across my palm, and then I used that for the base, and then I added just like a little bit more for the length. And I was going off of like throwing knives in design because she always throws her knives, and that's like what she's really good at, is throwing knives. So that's kind of the design that I went off of, but I also wanted the hilts to look good on the corset, since there are going to be 4 on the corset, and then a bunch on the thighs, and then probably in like the boots or whatever. But basically, I'm gonna run you through it because I didn't film it and I was kind of testing, and so now I know kind of what works and what's not going to work. So I have these like thicker, like flat failed pieces, and basically what I did was I cut out just like the blade piece, and I cut 2 of these, and then I kind of tried to like glue them together. And if you really like heat the shit out of them, that works really well. And then I cut out, it's the weirdest looking piece ever, just this piece. And then, sorry, the light is like so bright and terrible probably. This is a different angle than normal because my other tripod's upstairs and I didn't feel like getting it. Anyways, so I cut out just this piece that's gonna be raised, and then the central piece that also should be raised. And I tried to glue that on. That one didn't glue as well because I did use a much thinner piece than the original 2. And then I took some of my little scrappy doos and I melted them into like a cylindrical piece that was about the length of the handle, and I kind of like scored it in the middle and like shoved it on and tried to glue those together. This doesn't like glue together as well as I want it to. like as well as like a Worbla pie would, and that's kind of like what I was hoping that it would do, but it didn't. But anyways, then I took some of my Worbla scraps and I covered the blade in them, and then I took a few other Worbla scraps and that were like this shape. Like I did 3 layers of this and put those on top, and that's where we're at. And this is what it's looking like. The blade isn't super thin. It never really is when I do this method, but it's okay. I like it. So I think what I'm gonna do, because I couldn't quite get the handle how I wanted it, but I do like this like size and shape. I think that it's nice. And then she's always like flipping them. Oh, that was so close. If I'd had a proper pommel on it. Yep. Okay. We'll figure that out. We'll practice. This is what it's looking like next to our original sketch. It is a little bit bigger and thicker and wider. This can be like a boot dagger, perhaps, and then, you know, we'll figure out the rest of them. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna even go in with the PLA on the blade. I might just do like 2 or 3 layers of Worbla and then stick to it as like a base for the handle. And then eventually, once I have the pommel on, I am just gonna wrap this in probably a bit of scrap fabric and then some scrap pleather. So I don't have to like truly finish this, because I was trying real hard to get it nice and even and it was really difficult. I was using these long strips that I was cutting of flat pieces, and that was working pretty well, but I wasn't getting it quite thin enough, and I got this big chunky here. So I think maybe I can like carve that down perhaps if I get like a new sharp X-Acto knife, because like heating it, you have to heat it forever, and then it doesn't really like, it doesn't, I was trying to work it like Worbla and it's not like Worbla. But I will now take you in and kind of show you everything that I just tested once I get the pommel on, and then, you know, we'll have like a true test piece. That's where we're at. I don't think that was helpful. I'm like literally flying by the seat of my pants, but I just got some parchment paper because I have a TV tray right here. You'll see it when I move the camera to look at it, but I have a TV tray right here that I just put parchment paper on because it was sticking like no other. I think I'm heating up the Worbla too hot, and so it's like really, really sticky, and it's just sticking to my fingers and it's sticking to itself, and it was a whole disaster. And then I also have all of these scraps that I'm just gonna like put my heat gun on low fan and just like melt the shit out of them together. So I have all of these scraps still, and then I have a bunch of, I don't like the black Worbla as much, but I have a bunch of black Worbla in this box. So, okay, I have a lot more daggers to make, and I have to get them all done this week. It's Monday. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it, we're gonna do it well. And once we start painting and like wrapping fabric, it's gonna go so quick. It's literally just like, this took me 2 hours, but I was also like trying to figure out what the fuck I was doing. And now I have a plan. So here we go. Hello, welcome back. We are on day 2. So I have 4 that have blades where the runes are gonna go and handles. They don't have pommels yet. And then I have these 5 that need the spot where the runes are gonna go, but they have the blades and the handles. And then I have this one that I was testing out the pommel last night, and I think it needs another layer or 2, but yeah, definitely needs another layer. So that is where we're at. This is what this one with the pommel is looking like. Oh, actually the pommel, I was worried it wasn't gonna feel good, but it does feel nice. It kind of fits like right where my pinky goes, if that makes sense. This one I think is gonna be the most evenly weighted. It does need a little bit more weight on the back end. Oh, maybe it doesn't. Wait, where's the balance? Cast me unfortunate fire. Who are you? Yeah, but I have a whole mess. My scraps are all scrapping. They're all scrapping together, and I've been using the black piece scraps for the handles because like they soften immediately. So yeah, that is where we're at. For the pommel, what I did for this is I took my cutout template and I basically, like I had it on the table really, but the blades are much bigger than my template is. But I kind of took it like this, and then I like taped it like this, or I like had this, I had the paper taped to the table, and this was hanging off the edge from like here down, was off the edge. And I basically heated up the bottom until it's like here, and I flattened this as much as I could, and then I taped them together how I wanted them, and I lined them all up, and then I put one piece and I put it on top, and then I flipped it, and then I did the other side, and then I melted them together so that they would touch on all the edges, and then I went, yeah, this needs another layer of this, and then we're good. Because all of these, where the runes are gonna go, is 2 layers, and it's like a very nice bridge. And then some of the handles I did, this is like a PLA handle, and then this is a PLA handle. This was my first dagger. This is by far the worst looking one. It is the best weighted one though. The rest of them are too light, but this one's probably gonna be like a boot dagger. I'm only making 10. I know she has 12. I'm only making 10 because this is how many that I have that I'm making. I might make another that's like the venom, spoilers, the venom killing dagger that's like slightly bigger, slightly different, but these are just based off of the ones that Xaden gives her in the first book. Yeah, that's the vibes. I'm going to keep attaching the like rune pieces, and then we will come back, but and I'll probably end up like smashing a few of the bottom of the handles to put on the pommels. I did look at some runes. These are the ones that I liked, and these are Norse runes. I'm probably gonna go with these. The other ones that I was looking at was someone's like fan art of Shadowhunter runes, and those ones look really good, and they looked very like Rebecca always describes it as they're like weaving the runes, and I know Xaden gives Violet at the beginning of Iron Flame like the book and the rope to practice weaving the runes so that she can learn how. Literally spent all of 10 seconds looking, but I did find these 12 runes, so I'll probably get rid of 2, which is fine. I like them, and they're going to be very easy to embed into the handles and into like this little like cross guard kind of section here with the little trick that I have with this kind of thing. Yeah, so far I have protection, defense, opening, gotta have opening if you read Iron Flame, opening, courage. Oh, I have 2 different protections. Okay, so one can go. Health and healing, protection from evil magic, energy, good health. I have 2 different energies too, so one of those can go. That's weird. Oh, I think one is supposed to be like divine energy or whatever, creation and success. That's great, we already found 2 that we don't need. Let's get rid of the less interesting one. That's the plan, that's what's happening, that's what we're doing. I'm sorry, I'm not filming a lot, especially with my heat gun, because I don't want the heat kind of like going up onto my camera. I don't want it to get too hot. I don't want to damage the lens or anything. So sorry, the footage is like non-existent a little bit. I don't know what I filmed. I'm just here. I'm just a girl. Okay, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 daggers with blades and pommels and handles. Now it is time to ruin them up. We're gonna use our trusty tester one that kind of looks like shit. What I like to do is I'll heat up this part a little bit with the heat gun, but then just to get it like started, and then I will use a lighter actually for the rest of it. And I'm probably going to, I was gonna say cut these out, but I think I'm honestly just going to like take it, I'm gonna have to cut these out. So I'll cut these out and then I'll just lay them on top while this is heated, and then I will kind of trace it with like either a like pencil, like a pencil, mechanical pencil that the lead is all the way in, or literally with a ballpoint pen, because I don't know where my carving tools went. Not that I really had any carving tools to begin with. Once I heat up the Worbla, the paper will stick to it, and then I will let it cool completely so that this will pull off, and then we'll go in and we'll detail it a little more and like deepen the marks. They don't have to be super deep for the way that I paint, honestly. Like, you just need a little bit of texture in there. Let's go. I'm gonna rotate so you can see it this time. Okay, everyone, other than a clear coat, all 10 daggers appear finished to me. I'm gonna let the shoe polish and the acrylic wash dry for probably most of today before I clear coat them, but they're looking absolutely fantastic. That sounded so tired. I promise I'm not that tired. I am kind of tired. Thank you for being here. Here's all 10 of our daggers. Some of them look better than others, but you know, I also will say, I know that her daggers are technically supposed to be like new, but she does use them all the time. And also, I don't know how to not weather something. I like the way that the leather hand wraps turned out. I think they look really nice. I'm decently happy with the blades. They're very thin, and I did actually have one of the handles break when I was weathering the runes. Other than that, it's been great. So now I just need to figure out what the sheaths are gonna look like for these. But thank you for being here, and of course, in the next video, we will be going back to the baby over there. And I think we'll be like 90% finishing the costume in the next video, other than the wig. But I do have the wig. I just have to figure out how to style it. I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week. Unless you watch my shorts.